In the last week of December 2004, while most of the world was busy with the holidays, a small group of astronomers kept refreshing the same number on their screens. The number was the odds that an asteroid the height of a skyscraper would hit Earth. And every time new measurements came in, the odds got worse. 1 in 200, 1 in 60. By December 27th, 1 in 37. No asteroid had ever scored higher on the danger scale, before or since. And it came with a date attached. April 13th, 2029. A Friday, the 13th. They named the asteroid Apophis, after the Egyptian god of chaos. And what astronomers eventually discovered about it is stranger than the impact everyone feared. First, the relief. Years of tracking, and in 2021, radar finally pinned down the orbit. Apophis will miss. An impact is ruled out for at least 100 years. But miss is doing a lot of work in that sentence. On that Friday the 13th, a rock, roughly the height of the Empire State Building, will pass about 31,000 kilometers above the Atlantic. That is not astronomy close. That is beneath the ring of satellites carrying your television signal. 1/10 of the distance to the moon. The closest approach of an object this size in recorded history. And for one night, some 2 billion people across Europe, Africa, and Western Asia will watch a point of light, brighter than the stars of the Big Dipper, glide across the sky. No telescope? Just look up. It will move visibly against the stars, crossing the sky in under an hour. Encounters like this happen roughly once every 7,500 years. The last time a rock this size came this close, humanity had not yet invented writing. This time, we get to watch. And that's where this story should end. A spectacular, near miss. But the closer scientists looked at Apophis, the less sense it made. Solid rock has a density of about 3 grams per cubic centimeter. Apophis comes in at barely more than half that. There is only one way to explain it. Up to 40% of this asteroid is nothing. Empty space. Apophis is not a flying mountain. It is a flying pile of rubble, thousands of boulders, gravel, and dust, held together by a gravity so weak that you could jump off its surface and never come back down. We've met objects like this before. When a NASA probe touched the asteroid Bennu to grab a sample, the surface swallowed it like a ball pit. The spacecraft sank in and had to fire its thrusters to escape. Then radar revealed the shape. Not a potato, a peanut. 2 separate lobes connected by a narrow neck. 2 rocks that drifted together ages ago and simply stayed, leaning on each other. And anything built from 2 pieces fails in the same place. The seam. On top of that, Apophis doesn't spin cleanly the way a planet does. It tumbles, end over end and sideways at once like a die rolling in slow motion, a wobble that betrays a lopsided, uneven interior, a weak seam, a loose interior, a chaotic spin. Now add the missing ingredient, our planet. On April 13th, 2029, Earth's gravity will grab Apophis and squeeze it. The same tidal force that lifts our oceans, applied to a loose pile of gravel with a fragile waist. And because the asteroid is tumbling, the stress will sweep across its body for hours, Earth testing it like a hand checking whether a fruit is ripe. Let's be clear about the viral version of this story. Apophis will not break apart. It passes well outside the Roche limit, the tripwire, in space, inside which gravity shreds loose bodies. And the models predict flexing measured in centimeters, not fractures. But here is what the models do predict. Its spin could halve or double. Its axis could lurch. Landslides could sweep its slopes and expose ground that has been buried for millions of years. The honest answer is a range, because every model has to guess at the one thing nobody has ever measured: the inside. A planet is about to squeeze an asteroid, and the way it flinches will finally tell us what it's made of. And this time, we will be standing next to it when it happens. NASA's asteroid veteran, the same spacecraft that grabbed a piece of Bennu, and parachuted it into the Utah desert, has been renamed Osiris Apex and sent to chase Apophis down. In September 2025, it swung just 3,500 kilometers past Earth, stealing speed for the pursuit. It will spend 18 months at the asteroid, and at one point, descend to 5 meters and fire its thrusters straight down, deliberately blasting the lid off the sealed box. And Europe and Japan are sending a second witness. Their probe, Ramses, is being built right now. Its core structure was finished in Bremen just weeks ago. It launches on a Japanese rocket in April 2028 and arrives 2 months before the encounter. One spacecraft records the before, the other records the after. A planet reshaping an asteroid, documented from the front row. Nothing like it has ever been done. Quick pause. If you love watching science happen in real time, that's exactly what this channel is for. And subscribing takes 1 second. Because here's the part almost nobody noticed. This entire story just repeated itself. On December 27th, 2024, 20 years to the day after the Apophis alarm hit its peak, telescopes picked up a new asteroid, 2024 YR4. Within weeks, it climbed to a 3% chance of hitting Earth in 2032, the highest threat level since Apophis itself. Then, new data cleared Earth and moved the crosshairs to the Moon. 4% odds of a lunar impact. For a year, the most powerful telescope ever built kept watch, until this February, when the James Webb Space Telescope pinned the orbit at last. The Moon is safe too, by barely 23,000 kilometers. And that is the real story hiding inside the Apophis flyby. You've probably been watching this as a disaster that isn't going to happen. Wrong lens. Somewhere out there is a rock that will be on target on a date nobody has circled yet. And when we find it, everything will depend on knowing one thing: what these objects are like on the inside, because you cannot deflect a floating pile of rubble the same way you deflect a solid mountain. We can't rehearse on an asteroid we haven't discovered. But on one Friday night in April 2029, the universe runs the rehearsal for us. For free. So mark it. April 13th, 2029. 2 billion people will look up and see a beautiful point of light crossing the sky. A handful of scientists will be watching something else entirely. A sealed box, 25 years in our catalogs, finally cracking open. And what they learned that night may one day be the reason a city still exists.